Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. Speaker.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Durham.
Madam Speaker, I rise in the chamber today as Canada's newest Member of Parliament, elected to represent the riding of Durham. And I have a very clear message to deliver on behalf of my community in Durham. We are tired of the Prime Minister's broken promises. We are tired of the Prime Minister promising to fix this and fix that, and in return what we receive is a life that is harder and more expensive. Madam Speaker, we believe that Canadians deserve better, and we believe that the topic of debate today, Pharmacare, is just the latest example of the Prime Minister promising big things only to disappoint the people of Canada. Now, I put my name on a ballot, and I wanted this job as Member of Parliament because despite the Prime Minister's best efforts, I am optimistic and hopeful about the future of this country. I believe that once we have a new leader in this great land, we will see brighter days ahead.
Hear, hear.
And my optimism does not come from these big deficits or these big budget announcements. My optimism comes from my knowledge of the people of Canada and the people of Durham. My optimism comes from people like Kirk Kemp, who runs one of the biggest and most important agricultural businesses in Canada, Algoma Orchards. And as he becomes more successful in his business, he only gives back more to our community, supporting initiatives like the Bowmanville Hospital redevelopment. My optimism comes from people like Dr. Khan Chandra, a dentist in Curtis, Ontario, who has built a tremendous business, provides for his family, and gives back to our community as a connector for Durham's growing Tamil community. And my optimism comes from Kim and Leon Morrow over on Taunton Road East in Oshawa, who scrape together every spare dollar they can find in every spare moment to provide guidance and mentorship to young men and women who may otherwise fall into the pitfalls that await struggling youth. But Kim and Leon have their backs, and that is why I'm hopeful about the future of this country. You see, Madam Speaker, I'm very honored to stand here in this beautiful building, and I appreciate the chance to dress up in a suit and a tie. But my heart was not shaped in places like this. My heart was shaped by people like my grandfather, Robert McFarland, rest in peace. My grandfather, who worked as a school custodian for decades in the Toronto District School Board. A man who swept the floors and mopped the floors, who kept the classrooms tidy, who locked up at the end of the night so that children had a place to learn and teachers had a place to work. And I carry his story with me. I come into this job very much a servant, like my grandpa. I am here to protect what makes this country special, to protect the rights and freedoms of Canadians, to make sure that this country continues to be a place where people from all over the world can come and find a better life. People like my grandpa, who came here from Scotland, my grandmother, who came here from Ireland, and my father, who came here from Kenya. Now, I am aware that there is a liberal playbook that gets used against people who disagree with this Prime Minister. A playbook that likes to marginalize and vilify anyone who has the audacity to stand up and say what is happening in this country right now is not right. And that playbook the Prime Minister likes to use, likes to cast people who disagree with him as racists. And I would be welcoming the Prime Minister to try that with me. You know, based on our history, I don't think that's going to go so well for him. But I also believe that he is completely out of touch with the needs and desires, the hopes and dreams of our very diverse country and the diverse communities like the one I represent in Durham. He's welcome to take his claims that people who disagree with him are racist to my African father and see how that goes for him. He also uses this liberal playbook to marginalize and vilify Canadians who disagree with him by calling those of us who believe in traditional family values bigots. And I say to him, come to my riding, my diverse riding in Durham, and try that on us. where we have Christians and Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, and Jews living together, all people who believe that mothers and fathers matter. He's welcome to try that with us. And I know his liberal playbook also likes to say that people who disagree with him don't care about the working class or don't care about vulnerable people. And I don't think that's going to work on me either. I am not a trust fund baby. Like most people in this country, I have clawed and I have scraped and worked hard for everything that I have. I don't think the Prime Minister can say the same thing. And the reality is this: he's welcome to try that message on people like my mom. She'd love to have a conversation with him. A woman who raised 3 children by herself, 68 years old, sorry mom, continues to work hard every day because she cannot afford to retire in this NDP liberal economy. The liberal playbook is not going to work. They can try their greatest hits. Tune up the guitar. Tune up the banjo. The greatest hits aren't hitting anymore. And I'm here to deliver that message very, very clearly on behalf of my community in Durham and anyone else in this great country who is unhappy with what is happening and frustrated to feel like they are not able to say what is happening in their hearts and their minds, do not feel validated and affirmed by the reality they experience, not being echoed by many of the institutions across this country who have bought into a narrative that simply does not reflect reality. Now, with the remainder of my time, I'd like to also deliver a message to any young men and young women across this country who might hear my words. My presence in this chamber is a glitch in the system. I'm not supposed to be here. When I was 15 years old, I failed the Ontario literacy test. I was labeled illiterate by the Ontario education system. But I'm here. At the age of 30, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I sat in a recliner with an IV in my arm, pumping my body with chemotherapy drugs. I laid on a hospital bed as radiation lasers ran along my spine for months. But I'm here. I took on woke censorship from corporate Canada, looked them dead in the eye, and I'm here. And I've been the subject of hit piece after hit piece from liberal news media. And guess what? I'm here. Yeah. The reality is that many young men and young women are facing a variety of challenges across this country right now, some of whom are facing things that I can't even fathom. But as long as I stand in the House of Commons, as long as I'm honored to call myself a member of Parliament, I hope that I can be a walking, talking reminder that you should never give up. Don't give up on yourself, don't give up on your family, don't give up on your community, and don't give up on this country. And as long as I'm here, I won't give up on them either. Thank you.
Great job.